Playing Cyberpunk 2077 has always been about exploration and mysteries. But sometimes as players, we can explore a little bit too far and see things the developers never intended us to see. So join me today as we find all the things the developers forgot about and never wanted you to see. And if you do enjoy this content, please consider subscribing, as that's the best way to support the channel. But for now, let's get exploring. For our first one today, we're located in Wellsprings inside of Haywood, just over here in front of this big building. Now, this one to me is actually kind of interesting because it's really kind of obvious. I'd never even noticed this myself, but yeah, apparently there's just this hole into the abyss here, right in the middle of the normal street. Now, I've never noticed this before, but yeah, if you actually, there we go, I'll just enable no-clip flying here, but yeah, you can actually fall through the map right here. So yeah, just be careful, guys. There's a gigantic hole in the floor located here. Now, it's kind of interesting. After watching this area here for just a little while, none of the NPCs ever pass close to it. I was trying to push one down it just for a laugh, but yeah, none of them go anywhere near that hole in the floor. But something tells me this will get patched out pretty quick now that it's been discovered. For our next one, we're once again located in Wellsprings in Haywood. Now, this one is kind of interesting. We've just got these little benches over here, but if we were to start no-clipping beneath the floor here, we may notice that, yeah, we've got a couple of NPCs who seem to appear to be spawning beneath the map down here. Now, you can sort of see their little heads here popping through the floor every now and then when they seem to move about a bit. But other than that, it looks like our poor Chumbas here are going to be stuck beneath the map for quite a while. Next one on the list, we're located here just in the city centre. As located just below the road here appears to be a little recreational area because we've got a load of random benches placed down here. Now, I don't actually think these were intended to be part of the environment above, as they're directly beneath a road here. Who knows, maybe this could have been some sort of underground area that they were working on that never came to fruition. The other strange thing about this area is that these doors here actually have keypads on them until you start getting close, and then they just disappear from existence. What do you guys think? More content or just misplaced assets? Let me know in the comments below. For our next one, we're still in the city centre, right next to Gold Beach Marina. Now, something quite interesting about this one, because it links directly to our benches that we've just looked at, because, yet again, we've got exactly the same pattern of benches right outside of one of the exact same buildings here. Kind of interesting. Makes me think that this was like they tried to copy and paste the building over and accidentally selected a load of the benches. I think that's more realistically what's been going on here, because this, like I said, exactly the same pattern as the last lot of benches we've just looked at, including the exact same building here. So yeah, what I actually think these are is that one of the developers has copied and pasted this building, but accidentally selected a load of the bench assets that were right next to one of their original copies. Because realistically, how else would you explain the exact same pattern of benches and the exact same building? Kind of makes you wonder how many areas like this have exactly been copied and pasted. For our next one, we're back in Wellsprings in Haywood, just outside of Mega Tower Block 2. Now, ordinarily, the upper levels of this building aren't accessible, as there's no panels here for the elevators. However, thanks to the power of no-clip, we're able to go and see what is actually inside the mega building, and I thought this was kind of interesting. We've actually got some of these gate doors here that are just floating around. Now, there's actually 4 of these located all throughout this upper floor here, in an area that's clearly not meant to be accessible. Now, all of them have got adverts on as well, which are actually played also, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now, unfortunately, that is the only thing located inside of this mega block here. However, rather interestingly, Mega Block Tower 2 is one of the only mega block towers here that doesn't actually have a roof rendered in. All the others do. But yeah, I thought it's kind of strange that of all the mega blocks, this is the only one that doesn't have a roof. Now, the other interesting thing is that there's actually an elevator shaft here that does go all the way up to the top of the building, but it's clearly inoperable. Maybe at some point we were actually meant to come into this building. But sadly, these are either misplaced assets or it's content that just never made it to the game. Our next one, we're in the Glen here, located just outside of the NCPD headquarters. Now, located at the top floor of the NCPD headquarters is the area where we come to view a brain dance here. This is where Lucius Hulse is unfortunately executed by a cyber psycho, but located here is one of the only few examples left in the game of the missing texture file here. Now, for whatever reason, just outside of this BD area, we do have these two computer screens here, and this is the only default texture that's left in the game that I've been able to find so far. Magenta colors like this in video game development are often used to display missing textures, but either way, it's kind of strange just to have these computer monitors floating just outside of this BD area. My initial thoughts are it's probably to do something with the activation of the BD or the events that happen within this area. CD Projekt Red often use random objects just outside of the playable area to activate triggers. For our next one, we're located here in Charter Hill inside of Westbrook, where we can see there's this absolutely really cool shopping area located down here. With only one of the buildings actually being enterable at the moment, it actually looks like we were meant to be able to see more, because located here is an Argus shop, and if we were to just no-clip through it here, we'll actually notice that there's a few lootables inside of here. We can have soup. Is it soup? A juice? A smoothie? Yes. And also located in here is another little random chest as well that you can also loot here and has a titanium ring in it. And look at that, it's actually worth €500. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is they've actually completely blocked it off here. This to me really signifies that this should have been an explorable shop, because normally they don't put block panels like this behind doors. But for whatever reason here, once again, more content was cut from the game. Also, right next to this shop, this kind of made me laugh. There's this actually a little roadway here that is normally blocked off. You can see there, it comes down here and it's blocked off by this gate. But if you just look behind it here, it's actually a road that goes into a bench. Yeah, probably not the best seating area for the cafe. But yeah, that's located right next to the shopping area as well. But the next one was still in Westbrook Charter Hill here, located on top of this building. Now, this is kind of a small and insignificant one, but for whatever reason, on top of this completely inaccessible building, there's actually some vending machines, and they work. I don't know why, I just thought this was really strange. None of this is actually accessible at all, anytime in the game. And yeah, we've just got these working vending machines up here. I just thought it was kind of silly. For our next one, we're located here inside the Corpo Plaza, where there's these actually inaccessible walkways over here that are normally cordoned off and completely grated off thanks to the police barrier. Now, just outside of Metal Heaven here, there is some sort of crime scene, but unfortunately no NCPD ever spawn here. The other fun thing in this area, despite the glitching out objects here, is that there's actually this strange elevator. Now, you can't actually get inside of that at all. The whole thing is blocked off, but for whatever reason, it just keeps going up and down here into inaccessible areas. I don't know if this is actually meant to be a set piece, but look, I'm take off no clip here, and you can actually just stand right above it here. And I don't even think we actually are able to clip into it. We'll see here when it comes back up. But yeah, I just thought this was really odd that there's this lift here. Oh, so it has got clipping on top of it. Let's have to see what happens if we go in it here. Oh, no, it just, yeah, it just keeps us up here. Surprisingly, we didn't get crushed. But yeah, this is where it goes down to. It actually goes down into this abandoned car park down here. Another area of the game that we can't get into at all. And I don't think I've actually ever seen an elevator like this in any of the car parks in the game. It is really strange, and it only goes down to that second floor, so it doesn't even go all the way down to the base here. But yeah, I thought it was rather interesting. For our next one, we're located here in Westbrook, just inside of Japantown, where you'll actually find that these little steps that you can go down. Now, if we go over this big hump of dirt over here, we've come to an area that the developers have clearly not finished, because we've got this gigantic, well, whatever that is, that's a giant geisha that we've got there. But just behind it, for whatever reason, we've got the world's smallest basketball court there. I don't think anyone is ever going to be playing a game on here, but this whole zone here just feels completely unfinished and unplanned. And I thought that's kind of strange considering how easily accessible it is. I mean, we've even got floating debris in the area here. But we're located out here in the middle of the Badlands. Located just at this Choo-Choo petrol station thing here, normally you'd follow these blood trails down into this larder here, where you can find quite an horrific sight here where a gig has gone wrong. However, speaking of things that have gone wrong, also located just underneath here appears to be what looks like a weapons case here that never actually got into the room above. We've also got a little bit of a strange cabinet located here under the floor as well. Either the developers forgot about these assets or they were just never meant to be part of it. Either way, they're still located just underneath the bunker right here. Frankly, I don't know what's worse, the fate that these tombs succumbed to or the forgotten assets by the developers. For our last one today, we're located in Santo Domingo here, right outside of Mega Block Building 7. Now, ordinarily, you can't get inside of Mega Block 7, it's all walled off. However, with the power of no clip, we can just pop through the wall and we'll notice that there's actually a load of NPCs on the inner side here. Kind of makes you think that, once again, this was actually meant to be some content at some point. But yeah, they just ended up walling it off, and now we've just got people who are stuck in the wall. Now, there is actually quite a few NPCs in this area. Clearly, some of them here are meant to be sat at bars and things like that. It's just another area that we'll never get to explore here. But sadly, that's all we have time for today. If you did enjoy the video, do leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.